chasing that vibe. I'm just chasing that vibe. I'm just chasing that vibe.
What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Tatiana Noel, and I'm back with another video. So, as you guys can see by the title, in today's video, we're going to be doing a Valentine's Day makeup look. This is a look you can wear out for, you know, a date with your boo, whether you're spending Valentine's Day by yourself, engulfing yourself in self-love, or if you just want to get dressed up and take pictures in your house on a regular, schmegular day, okay? So, I'm not going to chat too much. We're going to go ahead and get right on into this video, but you already know before we do, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, turn on your post notifications, and stay tuned because we're going to get right on into it. Lego. So the first thing I'm doing is just checking the skin to make sure it doesn't have too much product or anything on it. And now I'm going in with my micellar water to just cleanse the skin and give myself a nice clean base to work with. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started on the brows. I'm going to brush all the brow hairs up and just line the bottom of the brows with a concealer that I'm going to use to highlight and conceal her face. But I'm not going to bring it all the way down to the eyelid because we're going to go in with something different there. And now I'm just using my Anastasia Beverly Hills pencil. I forgot the shade, but yeah, I'm just using that to fill in the brow hairs, giving a really natural stroke. And she already has really good brows, so I'm just filling in and increasing the intensity where necessary. Now I'm going in with my Kiehl's eye cream and my Tatcha water cream moisturizer. So now we're going to do a little bit of color correcting. She does have a little bit of dark spots on her eye, which is normal. And, you know, to correct that for our chocolate girls, we're going to use like a peachy, almost red tone color corrector. And I'm just putting this wherever I feel like the color would show through the foundation, because I don't like layering a thick layer of foundation. So this helps to kind of control the color, and that way you can apply a thin, even coat of foundation across the whole face. And I'm just going to set that in with a cosmetic sponge so it doesn't move around when I go to the next layer of cream product, which will be the foundation. Now we're taking an eyeshadow base, and I'm using my Anastasia eyeshadow base, but it is a very stark white color. So I mixed that with a little bit of her foundation shade, so it's a little bit closer to her skin tone. I still wanted to have that like lighter effect, so it makes the colors pop a little more, but I don't want it stark white because she is a beautiful chocolate girl, and that would just be very ashy. If you know, you know, when you put product on that doesn't match the skin tone or doesn't go with the undertones, you're going to get an ashy gray look. So mixing your eyeshadow base with a little bit of your foundation helps to mitigate this problem. And I'm just going to blend it out so it's not pasty. And I'm just using a light, swift, circular motion all around the eyelid, and I'm blending it with that initial concealer that we put under the brow, so there's no harsh line of contrast. And then I'm just going to lightly set that eyeshadow base and concealer with a little bit of translucent powder. And I'm using my Airspun translucent powder because if y'all don't know, I live by Airspun translucent powder. I don't care your shade, honey. Now I'm taking the Huda, I believe this is the Ruby palette. I'm not exactly sure, but she has these little 9 shadow mini palettes. And this is the only palette I'm using for her eyelid, excluding the iridescent shade that you guys will see later. But I'm just taking a deeper burgundy color and I'm outlining the crease, or where I want the arbitrary crease to be. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch my last Detailed AF video, and I go in detail about crease work on the eye. Next, I'm going to take my blending brush and pick up a little bit of the red shade to blend that deep burgundy out up into the brow bone. but I'm not going to go all the way into the brow bone because I want this to kind of be a focused look, or rather a focused blend. And now I'm just taking a bigger blending brush and I'm picking up a very light shade to go over both of those colors and kind of blend them together, and then up into the brow bone without any actual pigment or color, but just to help it blend out, as you guys can see here. Now I'm prepping myself to do this cut crease because it is not a normal cut crease, y'all. I'm going back to one of the looks that I did on myself in prior years, and it is like a heart-shaped cut crease. So what you see me here is looking at my picture to make sure I do this right, honey, because you only got one shot. So to help me achieve this cut crease, I'm pulling her eyelid up a little bit just to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. My client does blink a lot, so this also helps with making sure that the line is straight and to control her eyelid so it's not moving too much. And to achieve this cut crease, I use the top of my concealer brush, like the very tip, and I draw the line out, and then I go in. Then I put the brush flat to kind of create the shape of the heart. I don't really know how to explain that, but if you guys watch here, you see what I'm talking about. And then I realized that I need to bring in that burgundy a little bit more because I don't want the heart to go far out into the corner of the eye. So I'm just adding a little bit more burgundy so that I can create the heart. I don't know. Y'all know what I just said. But as you can see here, I'm using the tip of the brush and I'm creating the shape. And then as I get to the top rounded part of the heart, I put the brush flat and kind of let it press the shape in rather than drawing it out. This is a really detailed process, so take your time. Start small and then branch out as needed, but the smaller you start, the more control you have over the shape so that it doesn't get out of hand, and then you're having to pack shadow back on top of the concealer and then it's going to get patchy. That's when you're going to start to get a bunch of creasing and all of that. So start really small and then work your way out. Now I'm just holding the eye up just to kind of control the process, and again help with the fact that my client does blink a little bit. Now I'm just testing the color foundation because I did have to mix a few shades, but as y'all see, I know y'all can see that that foundation is flawless, honey. If it's one thing I know how to do, I know how to mix some foundation, okay? This looks like skin. It looks smooth. It is beautiful. And now I'm just taking that same concealer brush to line the top of her brows, but I'm using the foundation shade and not a concealer shade because we do not want the halo brows. That is a no-no, okay? But look at this foundation, sis. Do y'all see that? Do you see that? Okay, I didn't even bring it down to her neck, and it is a perfect blend. Perfect. Now I'm using, I forgot the name of this palette, but I'm using my iridescent shade to just go on top of the heart cut crease, and I just want it to be a nice soft pink, nothing too dramatic. And I'm just packing that on with a more firmer brush. And now to highlight, I'm using this Almay, I believe it is, Almay concealer stick. I've had this for a very long time, and this is actually the first time I'm using it, and it is so beautiful. I love the consistency, I love the way it blends out, and I love the fact that it is a stick. It's almost like the shape of a lipstick, so it gives me that free range to kind of, it's just wonderful. And I'm highlighting all the high points of the face as we would normally do. Now for me with highlighting, I don't like to stretch the product. I like to place the product exactly where I want it to be, and then I just blend out the edges and buff it into the skin a little bit. When you stretch the product, that's how you end up with streak marks, and that's how you end up with using way more product than you absolutely need. So I place the product and then just blend it out as necessary, and you guys will get a better view of that on the other side. And when I'm blending, I also go back and forth with the foundation brush just to make sure it's no harsh lines and that, you know, it blends in seamlessly. If you guys want details on the brush I use, on the brushes I use rather. Again, go ahead and check out my detailed AF makeup look where I talk in detail about all the products I use on a regular basis. Now I'm immediately going in to set that concealer because we don't want any creasing, and I'm using HD Effects, I believe it's called, setting powder. And I'm just going in with a light application. I do not like baking. I do not like applying a lot of powder on the face for numerous reasons. Main one being that when you bake and you apply so much powder onto the face, that is primarily how you get a lot of flashback, a lot of ashiness, and it's just not favorable to me in my makeup application. And now I'm going in with my BH Cosmetics contour palette, and I'm not doing a wet contour. I'm just going to go straight into the dry contour because we want this to be more on the natural side. If you guys don't know by now, I don't like my makeup to be loud and boisterous. I really like a natural application, enhancing the natural features of one's face. And for her particularly, her high points needed to be highlighted to enhance that. But her contour, it's prominent. Her cheekbones are bomb. So I just went in with a dry contour, and that was that. Now I'm just taking a smaller brush and a lighter shade to go around the nose because, you know, like I said before, we do not want a stark shadow on the nose. And now I'm just taking that same HD Effects setting powder, and I'm just going under the contour, not only to set the face, but to define that contour a little bit more. Now I'm just taking my blending brush after I have all the powders set in place, and I'm just blending everything together. And now we're just going to use those same colors as before to go under the lash line to enhance the look a little bit more. And my client, like I said, she's blinky, and her eyes are a sensitive area, so I talk her through, you know, taking a deep breath, and this helps with retracting any tears that may build up in the eye, because you don't want that makeup look to bleed or anything like that. So if you have a client whose eyes get watery, have them take a deep breath in, and that'll pull back all of the tears or the water build up in the eye. I also have her squeeze her toes. This helps with taking the mind off of the fact that I'm around the eye, which is again a sensitive area for her, and gives her mind something else to focus on. And now, as you can see, she is feeling herself, honey. And so we're going to go ahead and do the lash line. I'm taking a red cream pencil from ColourPop. I'm cleaning that off, even though I clean it anyway, but I'm just cleaning it off again. And I'm dipping my cosmetic sponge in a little bit of setting powder so that I can hold her the bottom of her eye down to help with the application and not smudge the makeup at the same time. I pull back after every stroke and give her time to blink so that she can get her eyes together, because again, this is a sensitive area for her, and you don't want to abuse the client. You want them to be comfortable in your chair. So I pull back and give her a moment to gather herself and then come back in. And as you can see, she's taking those deep breaths. She's retracted the tear buildup in her eye, and we are good. We are good, honey. We are good. Now I'm taking my Juvia's Place Zulu palette, and I'm using the pink shade in that palette to apply blush. That is my favorite palette to use for blush. The pink and orange shade in that palette, they work perfectly as blush. So I just like to place the blush on the cheeks, the apples of the cheek, and then I use my blending brush to smooth it out. Now we're gonna take this setting spray. Y'all, it's a bunch of different setting sprays in a bottle. Sorry, but I'm just spraying her face with setting spray before I go in with highlight. I like to apply the highlight on the face while the setting spray is still kind of wet, because it makes it adhere better and it gives it a more luminous glow. And I'm using the Fenty Trophy Wife. And now we're just gonna go in. I'm using, I believe this is a Morphe liner. And as you guys can see, I'm using a Q-tip. The Q-tip not only helps me stay within the confines of her lip, but for clients who have smaller lips or lips that need help poking out, you can push down underneath and it helps protrude the lip so that you can actually get a clear line. Now I'm just taking whatever lip gloss I use. I don't remember at this point, but I'm just taking the lip gloss and I'm using my lip pencil to just apply that on the lips. I'm going to have my client blot her lips together, and then I'm going to go back in with the red liner to define the ombre look a little bit more. And I go back and forth with the liner and my blending brush because I want to, I go back and forth with the liner and my lip brush because I want to blend out that ombre look. Now I'm going in with my Buxom lip gloss in the shade Mariah, and this is just going to give it that iridescent luminous look, that va 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 boom baby. And last but not least, I'm just taking my concealer brush and her foundation shade and going around the lips just to define the shape and to clean up any mishaps I may or may not have. And that is it. Look at my client. She is beautiful. That foundation matches wonderfully. Everything looks good. And now I'm going to show her herself for the first time. And she tells me, y'all can't hear it, but she said, I look like a baddie. Yes, you do, sis. Yes, you do. So guys, that is all we have today. This is my Valentine's Day makeup inspired look. I'm going to include some pictures in the end so you guys can get a better look at the final makeup look. But yeah, sis, that is all we have today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until the end. If you guys like this video and want to see more of the looks I do on my client, then make sure you comment that down below. Go ahead and give me a red, pink, whatever your favorite color is, heart, in the comment section to let me know that you want to see more of these looks that I do on my client. Like the video if you haven't already liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and turn on those post notifications so you don't miss when I post my new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and until next time, peace.